So this is my Red Sea Reefer 350. Now, I've had this tank for probably about 12 years now, and it has been running solidly for 12 years. It's a very established tank, but you can see it's not had a lot of love, basically. Now, the water quality in there is pretty much bang on. You can see there's hardly any algae growing on the rocks. There's a little bit on the glass from where it doesn't come off. But here you can see is my sump. My sump is absolutely bomb-proof. I've got so much in there that it basically looks after itself. Now, if you haven't seen this video, I've recently bought some cuttlefish. Now, these guys have sort of rekindled my love, if you like, for my big tank. And looking after these guys has just made me want to sort of expand and do more with the tank that I've got in my room. So I suggest going and seeing the video that I did with these where I set them up. So to begin with, I started to get on the inside with a razor blade, and I started to clean all of the glass and get all that stubborn algae off. I then started to move the rock work around. You can see it kicked up a lot of debris. There was a lot of stuff floating around in there. But I wanted to make the scape, as you can see, very cave-like. Just because I do have a large panther grouper in here, I wanted to make sure that he had loads of places to hide. So I vacuumed all the rocks, just make sure I vacuumed them properly to get all the debris off. Went through the sand, topped it back up with some fresh water, did a huge 50% water change basically. And then I just wanted to make sure the glass was perfectly clean again. No matter how many times I scraped it, I always managed to miss a piece. So I just went over it and over it and over it multiple times just to make sure it was perfect. I only did the front and this right hand side. I didn't worry about the back too much. And this left hand side where the pumps are, again, I didn't really care about that. I don't mind if a little bit of surface algae grows on there, just because I do plan on getting some tangs and some angels for this. And I know they will peck on that. So once I've managed to get all the inside of the glass clean, I then made my way onto the outside. And I went all over this with some fresh water and some paper towel, just to make sure I got all the smears off. And again, as you know, I'm pretty sure I missed a couple, but I did my best. Now you can see how murky this is, so I thought while I waited for this to clear up, I thought I'd give a little feeding video, just so you can see how my cuttlefish are getting on. So if you look on this, you can probably see there's one on the bottom left of the tank, and there's one on the bottom right. The one on the bottom right is a little bit harder to see, as he does like to bury himself in the sand. He is the larger one, but he does squash himself down quite flat. Now I'm quite lucky with these guys. I have actually managed to get them onto frozen food, which is really good. I know a lot of people struggle trying to get live food for these guys, but I'm actually blessed that I managed to train these guys to eat frozen. So you can see they're very tame. I can tweezer feed them, and they will happily take food straight out of the tweezers, which is always ideal. Now the other one is slightly smaller to this one. I believe that he was being bullied by the bigger one, so the fact that I can actually target feed him now is a huge bonus for me, because I can make sure this guy gets plenty of food. But feeding these guys is absolutely incredible. I've never owned anything like this before, and it's been a huge learning curve for me. Not only do you have to keep the water pretty much pristine, these are actually a cold water species of cuttlefish. You have to keep the water extremely cold as well. Now this is just a small tank that I've got them in. I will be upgrading them shortly, but for now I just wanted to get them well established, get them used to feeding, and then once they do get to a larger size, then I will be moving them up into that larger tank. So sometimes I do have to agitate them a little bit just to try and get them to take the food, but eventually they will take it, which is always good. Now I do still feed them live shrimp as well, but again they can be quite expensive to buy, and because I buy them in bulk I do have to pre-order them, so it can take a while for them to come through. But to be honest, I'd rather feed them frozen, because I know that there's no bacteria in them. There's nothing that's going to harm these guys, even though they're pretty much bulletproof anyway. I know by feeding frozen food that they're not going to have any issues with parasites and stuff like that. Now this little guy, I don't know what's going on with him in a minute, but the tentacles, I think they're called tentacles, that he normally shoots out to grab his food, he's having a bit of issue with it. I don't know what the problem is with him at the minute. He tends to, when I put the live shrimp in, he misses. As you can see, he missed quite a few times there, and when he's trying to get the actual shrimp floating around, he does miss them quite a bit. Now I don't know if it's a targeting issue or he just can't see, maybe in his glasses, I don't know. But when I first got him, he was spot on, but now he seems to sort of struggle trying to actually hit his targets when he needs to. Now I had a little bit of shrimp left over, So I thought I'd just feed these guys. Now, all of these fish are extremely tame, especially the panther grouper. He's got no fear whatsoever. He comes right up to the tank and feeds at the top quite readily. But as I was cleaning, you probably saw I had my hands in the tank and things like that. These guys aren't shy at all. They come up to me. The puffers were trying to nip me throughout the whole thing. They're just incredibly friendly. And because this tank's in my room, they see me every day, I think they just associate me with food, so they don't worry too much. So now that I've got these fed, the tank should be completely cleared. Let's have a look. So this is the scape that I decided to go with. As you can see, the rockwork before was sort of, it was almost just like a wall of rock basically. Now what I've done is I've rearranged it all, and I sort of wanted to make a larger cave system at one end and then a smaller cave system at the other end. That way it gives the panther grouper loads of places. As you can see, he's in that little cave. He's got loads of places he can hide. There's loads of places for the other fish as well to sort of get out of the way and hide from him if they need to. Not that he causes them any problems, but it's just something there that should help everyone feel a little bit safe. Now, he was getting stuck in the rocks every now and again, so I did need to make sure that I made plenty of room for him. And also these guys, they do like to wedge themselves in the rocks, so I wanted to make sure they had ample space as well. So that's the end of this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. This did take a long time to try and get this tank clean, just because I neglected it for so long, but I will be doing another video on the sump showing you everything I've got in there and everything I plan on doing. Now, I've updated the bottom quite a bit, so make sure you subscribe, because I'm sure there's a lot down there that you probably won't see in other reef tanks, and that's just something that I've been doing that keeps this tank safe. So thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.